Good afternoon, CFM. It's Coach Matt with our Monday workout, and we are beginning our testing week. So just a couple general notes for testing week. Number one is that you do not have to do testing week. A lot of people enjoy lifting heavy and testing themselves out and seeing what they can lift. Other people, it's just not on the plate of things that they think is exciting or fun, or they don't want to hurt themselves, so they back away from that. And conservative approach is totally fine. What we would say is for your long-term health, at some point on a regular basis, you should be lifting at or greater than 85% of your max load, but it never means you have to go to a 1 rep max or try to do something that you've never done before like that, okay? So it's totally fine if you want to do 5 sets of 5 or 5 sets of 3 and keep the percentage back away from 100%. You can get stronger for the rest of your life and never max out again. And it is totally fine. So the second one is that there will be a lot of flexibility with the blocks of training this week. So make sure that let's say I'm not going to be here on Monday and Tuesday. I want to make up my cleans and bench press on Wednesday. So I'm going to shift up the order of events and do it in a slightly different structure, right, than what I have laid out. I have the week programmed so that nothing is missed, okay? And it's structured in order in the way that I think gives you the best opportunity to be the most successful at the most number of lifts. But if you want to do it differently, that is totally up to you. Just communicate it with the coach and make sure that it's not like interfering with the rest of the class structure. So it's one of those things where like we don't do filthy 50 when the rest of the class is doing Fran, right? That's just one of those things. We try to kind of do the same thing, but we permit some deviation from that if there's a purpose to it and if it doesn't interfere with anybody else doing anything in the gym, okay? And then the last one is technical maxes and spotting. There are two things that are very important on max out weeks, especially on a day like today when we're going to do bench press. Make sure you've got a spotter. And for back squat, also make sure you've got a spotter or know how to bail. And then all of the lifts, whether it's a pull-up or a box jump or a bench press, technical max is the key phrase. And that means that it is the heaviest or the most challenging version of the movement that you can do without breaking technique. And usually it is possible to do something that is a little bit heavier or a little bit like, you can get 5 more pounds on your pull-up if you will just like not let your chin break the plane, right? But that doesn't really count. It's not full range of motion. Or on a bench press, it's like you don't touch the bar to your chest. These are things that would deviate from a good lift, right? Or they would make the lift more dangerous to do, and we don't want to do those, right? So base your future training percentages on a clean lift, on a good technical, high quality lift at the end of it. And ideally, the way that you should finish your max out sets is thinking, I probably could have done 5 more pounds, right? I want everyone to walk away feeling like they left a little bit on the table, and that is a good foundation on which to build future training. And we are all about lifestyle here, about making strength training and pushing yourself a part of your regular everyday life. And if you run too fast and too hot and with little attention to technique, that generally winds up in an overuse or an acute injury, and that's what stops people from training, and we don't want you to run into that. So that's why we say technical maxes. Make sure the coach knows in the class that you're there if you're going to do something that you've never done before, okay? That's my whole primer for testing week. So let's get into it. We're going to do cleans and bench press today. So really all we got to go over is the warm up and talk about some strategy. So for the warm up, I want you to go 3 rounds through 1 minute of warm up pace cardio. This is kind of the general warm up first. Then we're going to do some air squats with a thoracic spine rotation at the bottom. Just get 4 reps of that, right? And then I want you to get 4 reps on each leg of this little ground complex. So it's lunge and then Spider-Man. So I'm reaching that elbow for the inside of my foot. And then I want to push back. So I'm stretching this hamstring and then forward and up in one motion to a leg swing, all right? And then I'll step with the other leg. Lunge, Spider-Man, hamstring reach, toe touch, all right? That little sequence. When you finish with that, we're gonna do 4 push-ups. So all the way down, all the way up. If you need to worm on the way up, that's fine, right? But try to go plank on the way down and keep your knees up until you're ready to change direction, right? When you finish with 3 rounds through that little general warm-up sequence, then everybody get their bar out. We're gonna do 3 rounds of this barbell complex. So clean pull, front squat, and tall clean. So we can do these from the hang position. Clean pull is a jump, shrug with straight arms. Jump, shrug with straight arms. After that, pull the bar to your shoulders. We're gonna do some front squats just to stretch out the hips in the front rack position. And then the last one is practicing the clean movement of a tall clean. So push up on my toes, bar somewhere between the belly button and the rib cage, and I'm going to initiate with my arms. I'm pulling myself down, my feet drop out from underneath me, catching in that good power position or squat position, and then standing tall. So scarecrow, drop, and stand all the way up. Okay, that's my tall clean. Get through that barbell sequence 3 times and then start into your clean warm-ups. So all of the lifts for this week, we will say 3 attempts for a 1 rep max at it, but that's very flexible, right? If you work your way up and you get your 1 rep max on your second lift, don't feel like you have to do a third one. And conversely, if you've done 4 reps and you keep PRing and it's easy and you want to go for a 5th, right, by all means have at it. And then the amount of time that you spend on these 2 lifts should be roughly the same. So think like 20 to 25 minutes per lift is a good amount of time to spend just focusing on that 1 lift and going heavy at it. For the clean, make sure you do lots of warm-up sets, but keep the reps very small. So like 2 reps, and then 1 rep, 1 rep, 1 rep. Don't feel bad about doing a single rep that is dramatically lighter than your 1 rep max. A lot of times, because we're used to training of like 5 reps at 85%, I feel like I gotta kind of fill up those sets with capacity and percentage. Today we're just filling the sets up with percentage and not with volume, right? So we wanna keep the volume very low and keep the percentage very high, and that's what allows us to lift the most amount of weight. When you finish a lift, especially at the top end of your percentage, it should be like 3, 4, even 5 minutes rest until you get to that next lift. And that applies to everything. It applies to the clean, the deadlift, the squat, the bench press, etc. All right, so those are our 2 lifts for today. Is the clean. The clean, just for the sake of demo, is gonna be ground to shoulders anyhow, right? So ground, catch at the shoulders and stand tall. That's the power clean. The squat clean is catching at the bottom of the squat. Don't expect anyone needs to do a muscle clean for this, but it's up to you. How do you get that bar to your shoulders? All right, so clean and bench is our 2 lifts today. Make sure you record your results and your notes, and have a great day. All right, see you on Tuesday.